It's on? Everyone hear me okay? All right, sounds good. Like Jesus, who often shared meals with those who he ministered to, we're using this opportunity to support his work in the world. Your contribution allows us to be hands and feet to Jesus, serving those in need. Contributions can be made through offering envelopes, electronically, underneath Meal for a Mission. If either of those present a challenge, please do let me know so we can help. I'd like to give a brief reflection of Meal for a Mission thus far in 2025. From January to June, we raised a little over $3,000 and collected various donated home and hygiene products for the Hope Center. They are greatly and deeply appreciative of this support that we have shown to them, and this allows them to continue to serve those in need. Starting July 1st, we've transitioned over to a new recipient, the Vulnerable Children's Foundation in Zambia, Africa. Today, we are excited to learn about this amazing foundation. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today. Tim Payne grew up in Appleton. He was confirmed by Pastor Balza at Eternal Love in 1999. He went on to FEL High School and then on to Wells Minister Training School, Martin Luther College in New Ulm, graduating from MLC in 2008. He's served as a principal, teacher in 2 Wells schools in Wisconsin since then. He has accepted a call to Kettle Moraine High School last year to serve as the director of institution. He was installed there in August. He and his wife Jessica and son Joshua were part of a life-changing mission to the VCF schools in Lusaka, Zambia in the spring of 2024. They're here today to share about the exciting gospel work being done there. Please welcome Tim and Jess Payne.
Thanks for having us this morning. It's kind of like homecoming here. We just got to celebrate that at Kettle last night and celebrated again this morning. So happy to see so many familiar faces and thinking of confirmation just last century. So that's what my students like to remind me of, that they think I'm old. I'm like, oh, okay, well, in some ways you're not wrong because the building's changed so many times since then. It's just been amazing to see God's blessings here at Eternal Love. And sometimes I think as churches we wonder, is what we're doing making a difference? The answer is yes, and we know that because God says it, but then we see impacts of ministry, people going on to do ministry elsewhere, and then the opportunities just that are brought up, not just locally, but worldwide even, so that a son of the congregation here has the opportunity to go to Zambia, make connections there, bring connections back, and keep it going. So just really appreciate that.
Our son Josh is actually on his way right now to MLC for a visitation to hopefully go there someday.
Yeah, recruitment trip.
He's not here today.
Yep. So he'll be in the pictures. We'll refer to Josh, and he'll be in there. He's 16 years old, and it was one of the impetus things to get us to Zambia. Is something I wanted him in before he was going off to college to experience a third world country, and what a beautiful way to integrate that visit with a mission of ours too, so that he can have that ministry mindset. It's one of his dreams to go back and visit Zambia before he's all the way done with high school. So when we talk about Zambia, the first few slides, we just have some kind of setting the table, where it is, that kind of information. So some geography, history, talk about the schools of the VCF, Vulnerable Children's Foundation, the churches there that support the schools. I guess they actually own the schools, and the VCF is really what supports the schools. So understanding that's important too, and then talking about how we can support the ministry there. So having done this presentation about 5 times, I talk too much at this part, so I'm going to go pretty quick, so we have more time later. So where is Zambia? It's in South Central Africa. Some people say it's the baby in the heart of Africa. So if you squint your eyes, you can see the picture of a baby there. One outstanding thing that you see, or that stands out, I should say, is just the poverty that is everywhere. What's with the pile of rocks? It's really some kid's job to take a larger rock and smash these smaller rocks. So when we go pick up gravel, it's because there's machinery that's making these bigger rocks into smaller rocks. Places like Zambia, third world countries, kids are doing that work, one rock at a time. Not just a land of poverty, but also a land of God's beauty. One of the pastors said, if you want a picture of Genesis and the creation, go to Zambia. You see all the animals that you think you're going to see. You see beautiful Victoria Falls in Livingston. So there's our family picture there, Josh. You see it's at the Rainbow Lookout. So there's just always a rainbow there, which again, another cool connection with God's word after the flood. And we have our group there on the right, not their better side, but but there's a group of about 8 of us that had visited. The capital of Zambia, Lusaka, population about 3 million people. So just rolling through what you see as you drive by on the bus. Anything to add?
You knew when you were in more of the rich area because you saw sidewalks. When there was no sidewalk was meaning more poverty.
So if that looks like a rich area, you wonder what the poorer areas look like. You see lots of houses like this built up because people don't take loans out for building projects. You build what you're able to. And with their geography, they're able to do that. They don't have hard winters and stuff. So if your building has to sit like this for years, just brick walls, it can. And that's what they do. So they are all over the place. The stadium for their national football team, and then just in the neighborhoods right around that, just the stark difference in poverty.
The picture on the right with the little girl on the lap, we went to the pastor's house, and this little girl followed us in. We assumed that she belonged right there, and we were there probably for half an hour, 45 minutes, and she was still on our laps, and we said, well, it's time for us to go. Where does she go? And they're like, we don't know. She had been with us for 45 minutes, and the parents never came to look for her. So when they say it takes a village to raise, that's what they mean. They just let their children go, and it's okay. They knew she had to be within a mile, but that was just something crazy to us.
Yeah. So that was one of the pastor's houses. So we'll talk about 2 pastors here, Pastor Tonga and Pastor Kangango. It's okay if you don't keep them straight. So, in the middle there is Pastor Kangango. That's his parsonage. So the picture's on the left there. So that's their living room. The kitchen's just on the other side. So that's pretty much a quarter of their house. So just learning to be content with much less, obviously. We were able to go into the rural areas as well, so not just the city, but they did have the traditional huts like you think of with the grass top and so forth. The well there, Josh is on the right. I wanted to give him a picture of him trying to pull those buckets up. So it's those pails, I think it must have been about 2.5 gallon pail, filling the 5-gallon pails. And he said it was, he was being a teenager, so he's like, it was no problem. And then these younger, I don't know, probably 10 or 12-year-old African girls come and whip it up, put the buckets on their head and start walking away, and they do that several times a day. It was pretty impressive. So, again, yes? Oh, with the clean water. Very good. Yeah, it's such an important part, and that's where the villages will then build around and expand.
Anyone take a guess about what the hut is?
Its purpose?
Not a house. A what?
A latrine?
No. Not shower. kitchen. This is their kitchen.
Yeah, all of their kind of rooms are all separate this size. So you'd have a sleeping quarters that look like this. Yep. Just how they lived out in the rural area. This is Pastor Tonga's retirement home. So about 5 years ago, he had the money to buy the bricks. And then you just get together with your family and figure out how to build it. So pretty amazing. He doesn't know when he's going to be able to retire out there, but he's hoping someday he'll be able to move back to where that's the village where his wife's family is from. Any guesses what this little building is on the left-hand side? It's the barn. It's a calf hut. So different than the plastic calf huts that we see these days blowing around by strong winds and stuff. But yeah, their fences, just much different. Jesse, you want to talk about the roads and the cattle?
So as we were driving, we were in a little bus, and we were going 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, cows would start going right past us, right in front of us, and there would be just like one person kind of watching over all of them, but they would just let them go. I don't know who they belong to.
Yeah, didn't see any brands or anything, but the herdsman would just stay with them, and
They knew what cow to follow because of the bell.
yep, the leader wore a bell, and they all followed. So didn't have to worry about hitting any deer on the roads, but did have to worry about cows. The staple food in Zambia is called nshima. So the shima is the corn-based
It's ground
food
corn.
there.
It's dried ground corn, and then they grind it and then put water with it, make it a paste, something to stick to the ribs.
Yep, that's what their favorite food is because it helps you stay full, even if you only get one meal during a day, which for the kids at the schools, that's one meal they can count on when they go to school. Getting kids to attend the schools was very difficult. Attendance was low, even if they were enrolled. Once they started the meal program, attendance was 99 to 100% every day because they could count on a meal. Pastor? Yes. Yep. Yeah, they all had Packer hats. No. Yeah, right. Yeah, so one of the people along on the trip is a pastor down in Milwaukee.
This was at our hotel. The food there was excellent at the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have to worry about eating their food.
I was told never to take, if anyone offered you chicken on a stick, you don't take it because it's not chicken. It's a mouse. Don't eat the chicken.
Yep. Want to give you just a preview of what our hotel was like. So it's not like we were staying out in one of those grass huts or something like that. Just so you know, if you ever have the inclination to go visit, you'll survive. It'll be okay. It really just felt like an American hotel. They knew what their customer base was.
Yeah, this is our hotel. That was our bus. If you go back, Tim, that was our bus right there. And then, yeah, these were our rooms. This was our bathroom. We learned very quickly to shower at night because sometimes we didn't have water in the morning. The Zambian government, I guess I would say, was controlling the electricity, and they still are. So if you didn't have a generator, you only had electricity from midnight to 4 a.m.
And they were in a drought season, so all of their electricity is hydroelectricity. So it was just only an hour and a half to 3 hours they could count on every day.
So we had a generator at the hotel, although sometimes it went off just because, or it flickered. But we just showered at night because it guaranteed us water.
Yeah, there was water pressure then. The hotel was in Lusaka, yep. And then Pastor Tonga just drove the bus, so he'd come and get us every day and take us back.
And then, for the water holding tanks, they did not have, what do you want to say?
Pumps?
What?
Pumps?
Yeah,
for
the pumps.
tanks?
So they had all the buildings, even your house had like this water holding tank. And once that water's gone, you had to wait for it to fill up.
Yeah, so a big thing at the schools was purchasing the electric pump to pump overnight and refill the large water basin. So that was causing a problem at the schools, because if they didn't have that running, there wasn't enough water, they couldn't make the food, they couldn't use the bathrooms, so they couldn't really have school. So that was a huge deal. We did go to the mall, and not just every Zambian would go there, only the wealthiest were able to afford
Even the
that.
grocery store that was connected to the mall. Only the wealthy shop at the grocery store. Otherwise, you shop in your little market in your area.
Yeah, and shopping at the ShopRite just looked just like a Piggly Wiggly or Pick and Save. Yes, they had fast food.
This was our place that we ate probably almost every day. Tim, Josh, and I could eat for about $5 for a meal with ice cream.
So the exchange rate is like $1 for 25 kwacha, that's the K. So you can see this meal, 180 kwacha, it's really costing about $8. So, and that's enough that we would share,
Yeah.
share as a family. Yeah, so any of these things, we got ice cream there all the time because the ice cream is good. And it was like $1. But they also had fancier restaurants too, so pork chops and so forth. Just some basics about the Confession of Lutherans in Africa. So we were there on the very day of the 75th anniversary, the very first Wales Lutherans in Africa, which I thought was pretty cool. The reason that area was chosen for mission work is because they already spoke English. As a former British colony, they're speaking British English, so we didn't have to spend, our missionaries didn't have to spend a lot of time and effort learning different languages. Then the pastoral training between the two countries, Malawi and Zambia, the pastors go to 3 years at the Lutheran Bible Institute, and then 3 years at the Lutheran Seminary in Zambia. The membership of their church, LCCA, is about 50,000 souls. And Wells made some changes recently, so we don't have people working directly being missionaries in Zambia because we've been there long enough that work is turned over to the national pastors. So our work in Wells is the One Africa team, trying to make new connections in Africa, different countries, so there's a lot of work being done with French-speaking countries right now. We were able to visit that seminary. It actually looks a lot like the one in Mequon. So wide open spaces. Obviously there's some differences too, but honestly, it was the largest private space that we had seen on our trip. It was just, they owned more property, and that was completely turned over to the LCCA recently instead of Wells owning it.
One different though, if you went to the seminary, you actually moved your whole family right onto the seminary grounds with you.
And there's one of the homes that they would have lived in. Pastor Kangango wanted to make sure I took a picture of it because that's where he and his family lived for their years on campus. So how do they support themselves with these gardens, beautiful areas? They had a soccer field and things for the young men and their families to play as well. All right, to the VCF, Vulnerable Children's Foundation, again, just the idea, the foundation is what is 100% monetarily supporting these schools. The schools aren't owned by VCF, the LCCA, the churches there on that site own the schools, but they wouldn't be able to fund them themselves. So if you go to their website, you can read more information there. The Facebook page is a little bit more active with what they've been doing recently. The two schools that they have, Kunika, and then the second, actually this is the second site, and we have pictures of both of them. We're going to start at Kunda Square. So you can see we visited on May 29th, 2024. When the kids start school, they are all speaking their tribal language. You don't learn English, even though it's their national language. You don't learn it until first grade. So you can see that language learning is already happening.
And if you do not know, if let's say you would be in 5th grade and you do not know English, you're in 1st grade then. You are at the grade so that you can learn English.
Yeah, so it's not age-based, it's ability-based. You don't move on to the next grade until you pass the test. And most people can't afford to keep their kids in school if they aren't able to pass that test. We did see at least one girl that was probably 10? Yeah, I guess we can continue. Yeah. So this is the square, their school. So they have one classroom here at the end. This other colored building, probably gray. Sorry, I'm colorblind. It's their church. And then there are 3 classrooms along this wall that you'll see. This is the square where they just use all their space.
And that one at that area is the kitchen.
Oh, and the one in the corner, yes, that's the door to their kitchen. So this is what they'll use for recess. They'll also use it for lunch. Anything that's outside of the classroom, that's where it's happening. So it fills up pretty quickly because they have 300 kids enrolled in that school, in those 4 classrooms. How they do that, because that was something I just couldn't wrap my head around until I saw it, is there is 150 kids that come in the morning, so they'll have 1st grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 7th grade there. Then they'll stay for their schooling for half the day, eat their lunch, and they'll go home. Then they get replaced by 2nd grade, 4th grade, 6th grade. 7th grade is the only one that stays all day. And that's because they take a national exam at the end of the year, and if they don't pass it, they don't go to high school. So, right here, you can see some kids lining up along the wall there. They're getting ready for lunch, while the others are arriving and spending time together at a break.
You can see the desks. They shove as many kids in that one desk. They'll have 3 to 5 kids at one desk, and you have this little area for your little notepad and your little pencil to write. And they will still move over to make room for you to sit with them, because that makes them happy.
Yeah, it was really, I hadn't really thought of it while we were there. It was a reflection afterward that me just being one person visiting, to them, I was the one that was providing this for them. And it was a really humbling moment to realize that. So it was really cool to be an ambassador, a representative of all the people who support the foundation. There are times where you got more students than you have desks. So these kids have that mat. Those 2, they just sit on the floor. I don't know if they take turns doing that, I would presume, but you see a teacher in the background here. It looks like the teacher's wearing a lab coat. And every area of work, every industry, they all had their own unique uniforms. Teachers wore these lab coat things, partly because they had their nice clothes on, and everything they did was in chalk. So by the end of the day, they'd be all chalky. So it helped keep them clean. And so not every teacher decided to wear them, but the majority did.
Oh, and you can see the student, if you go back, Tim, sorry. You can see the student, if you can point her out.
Yes.
There's the student in 1st grade.
So it looked like she could have been the teacher.
Yeah.
Because she was the same size as the teacher. In their assignments and things, you can imagine everything's up on the board. They're all taking notes. They don't get textbooks to take home. In fact, those textbooks that they use get locked up at night in the school office. And they want to be able to hold national tests on their school sites. So that's something they want to raise money for, because you have to have a separate building that's locked up, a special strong box for those national tests, because just everything is so valuable there. Any physical material people want and they'll take. The next slide, since I had flipped it forward, it's a recitation, so the students had learned the fruits of the Spirit. So that's one of the classes that they have every day, just like in our Lutheran schools. They have Word of God class.
We
I don't know if they chose the kid to do self-control just because they needed that reminder, or but you can see, you could understand them pretty easily one-on-one. A large group recording made it a little harder to hear them speaking the British English.
You know how far some of the kids are traveling to get there? I assume a lot of them, almost all of them walk.
Yes, everybody walked. Whether you're a 7th grader or 1st graders, where they start their school. They don't start in kindergarten, but everybody's walking and walking together if they're families, but a lot of the kids being in vulnerable situations, it's not families that they're traveling in, but kind of that same idea that Jess was sharing before, that it's just a community, it's a village, so everybody knows when it's school time, and there are people walking on the road all over the place because hardly anybody owns cars. Didn't see hardly any bikes. You can't afford that.
And these are vulnerable kids where they all had a home or someplace to go to every night, but it might not be with mom and dad. It might be with a sibling. It might be with an aunt and uncle. And these are families of 7 that are in a 2-bedroom or 2-room house, and maybe just even a little shack.
To qualify for a grant to attend one of the schools, what does it mean to be vulnerable? It means you couldn't even afford to go to the free public school. At the free public school, you still have to buy a uniform and just the classroom materials. So the kids, to get a grant, they have to be in such a poor place that they can't even afford free school. It has to be free. So every Friday they have an assembly, so it'd be like chapel in one of our Lutheran schools. And we arrived there on a Wednesday, and then they told me on Thursday, hey, you want to do chapel? I was like, oh, sure. So I shook the jet lag out and got it planned. So that was really cool. So it was probably about twice as many kids in that area. So this is their headmistress. So that's the word they use for their principal. So headmistress Esnot. So I got to help make lunch. This is making in Shima. My face looks pretty concentrated. That's really hard to stir. So Hazel here on the right, she did a fantastic job just taking that big paddle and she could have been rowing down the river no problem, but I could only work on it for about 3 minutes and I gave up.
The gentleman on the left, that's the headmistress. Nope, never mind. Take that off.
He is another worker.
Yeah, just a worker.
This is one of my favorite pictures of just having the kids lined up. You can see that they're waiting for their food, and just always brings me back to the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. And what it really means when you have that need physically every day. We all have that need, but we're also blessed here in America, and not everybody in America, but I think in general in this room we probably don't have to worry what's going to be in our cupboards. Do you want to talk about lunch, Jess?
For lunch, the utensils and the plates that they would use, they didn't have enough for all 300 kids. So the little ones would go first, and they would have to wash their own dishes, put them aside, and they knew exactly what to do. They never had to be told, even from little on. They did not have to be told what to do or how to do it.
So we have a video next showing those kids being responsible. The other responsibilities that they would do, it was their dry season, so kids would show up early, just out of pride for their school, carry on 5-gallon buckets of water, and just take their hand, cup it, and sprinkle the dirt so that it wouldn't be flying up as soon as they arrived at school. Keep their rooms cleaner. The kids would come and sweep out the rooms at their break time and everything as well.
They loved you with a camera or a phone. They loved you.
And it's not that they didn't have phones and cameras too, or a phone. A lot of people have a phone because of, I don't know if it was Bill Gates Foundation. A lot of people had
Their phone
phones.
plans there are $5 a month. So a lot of them had phones, but the problem would be is, do you have electricity to charge your phone? So when we were at church one day, you could see every outlet being taken by phone chargers.
A whole nother reason to go to church. Do you think that plan would work here? Come charge for free. At the recess time, we had brought some games with us. So we had brought this transportable game and setting up, took their whole recess space. So it's probably not that great of a gift because they couldn't do anything else. But we had fun showing it to them. And to see Josh is there in the front. So we had showed them how to play and then got out of there and let them have some fun. Pastor Tonga jumped in to make sure the kids were behaving, and that was fun to watch him interact with the kids. At that time, he was the chairman of their board, and also driving us around all day. So, like I said, this other building, that's their church on that site. So this church is the one that owns the school, and VCF funds the school. So that's Pastor Tonga in with the kids. At the recess time, like I said, Packer fans. The boy on over my shoulder there, he had come up to me and said, "You're my best friend."
Can you take me back to America with you?
So we had come back to visit the school again, and he had reapproached me about that idea, and I said, I would love to, but our governments would have a problem.
And also, Tim had a nice watch on, and the same boy at the school every time would try to pickpocket his watch. Again, attention, they just love your attention.
So Josh started just lifting up kids, and you can see what the reaction was. And then they were coming to all of the visitors. Yeah. Come lift us up. So I think the most I had on my arms was 4 at once.
This is the headmistress or principal's house behind them playing at recess.
So her dream is to be able to build a house outside of the compound. One time the ball just rolled into there and the kids just walk in and get it. So I don't know if I'm that open as a principal that I just want my students walking into my house whenever they want.
Yeah, you do. Yep, if you go back. That's the water holder. That's where they hold water.
Yeah, they have one that's elevated up higher because then you don't have to have a pump to push it, and you just use gravity. So I don't know if that was a spare one or what that one particular purpose was. The bathrooms are here on the right-hand side. I didn't go into that bathroom.
I didn't either.
Okay.
When we were traveling about to use the restroom, the pastor would go in the bathroom first to make sure that they were acceptable for us. We did have to pay like a penny to use the bathroom, and then they gave us 1 square of toilet paper. 1.
I think you should have paid 2 pennies and gotten 2 squares.
Yeah. We learned fast to bring our own toilet paper along.
Yep. This is the second school that we had visited. So this is the newer one at a different church location. So this is the Matero School. The fundraiser at St. Marcus in Milwaukee, that school and church, basically paid for this school to be built, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Just wanted to show this video. You can hear the kids being excited as we were walking in to see them for the first time. So Charity was the teacher up in front. You could hear her voice saying, "Yes, we love the Lord," and then the kids would repeat that joyfully, obviously.
And I don't know if you could see the handshake that they were doing when they walked in.
Yes.
The handshakes were a little different. So let's say the pastor is done with the service. He goes to where he greets everybody. He would shake everyone's hand. If you shook someone's hand, you put your other hand here, and that was to show that you didn't have any weapons. And then you go very fast, like that. And then let's say pastor would shake your hand, then you would stand behind pastor, and then you would shake everyone's hand. And it just became everyone a line, so eventually you got to shake everybody's hand. And the choir was always last, and they would sing as they went through.
Yeah, super cool. So maybe something you can adopt here. I don't know if it works in February, but but that was really neat. The lunch at Matero School, again, very similar. It's the same setup, just in a different location. So you can see again, that's when between the lunch, it's the lunchtime service, so kids who are finished school having lunch, or kids who arrived early, they have lunch and then go to school.
It was porridge that day. That's what they got to eat, was just porridge.
So when we were at the other school, I was making the nshima. That was also a piece of chicken and then some greens. So just they had a rotation, and porridge was probably the simplest to make, I would assume. But you can't have the best meal every single day, of course.
Do they have what? Yes, they have marriages, but they do not wear wedding rings. So you had no idea who was married and who wasn't. No? The family.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
In these families, because they're so vulnerable, kids would have to be raised by other family members or people. Yeah, sometimes the parents had passed away because of AIDS or something else.
The average lifespan in Africa is about 60, if I'm right on that.
I think so.
Right around there. Everything gets locked up. All the balls from recess get locked up every night because otherwise the children would steal them. And if they didn't have balls, they would take plastic bags and make balls.
The teacher posters on the wall, so kind of think of maybe like 2 generations ago of our Lutheran schools, and that's kind of where they're at today. I think probably 2 generations ago in our Lutheran schools, we probably had teachers making the posters that were hanging on the walls. So it's just a good comparison of where they are today.
As you can see, their backpacks are on the flagpole. And I'm like, what in the world? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they leave them in the classrooms? Because they didn't want their backpacks to be out of their sight. Because everything they own are in those backpacks. Even how little they are, everything they own. And they do not let them out of your sight.
Yep, you don't leave your things at home. You take them with you.
Because they will get stolen at home, even from your own family members.
One passage that had come up at one of our chapel services this week was 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 8. It was one of our senior students that was doing the devotion, and this verse really stuck out to me when he was presenting. Not that I haven't heard it before, but this picture just popped right into my head, that if we have food and clothing, we'll be content with that. And we're just not in that place where we've ever had to be content with just that. God has blessed us with so much material goods here in America. It just takes it's worth taking some introspection. Can we be as joyful as these kids are when all we have is food and clothing? Sometimes
you would see a student sitting down and polishing their shoes, because that's the only pair that they have, and they have to take good care of them.
Again, some classrooms. This is a picture of us as we're leaving, so it really did kind of feel like celebrities, waiting for the paparazzi to hop up and take some pictures. One of the pastor's jobs was to move the kids from the back of the bus because we were completely surrounded, as kids were cheering for us and asking us to come back again the next day. While we were there, one of the goals we had was to lead a teachers conference, so it's not something the 2 schools get together to do. Just the extra cost is something that they can't afford. So just the 8 of us that were on the trip, we pooled our money together to pay for them to get transported to the hotel we were staying at, and then using the gifts that we had, we presented a teachers conference for them.
To put it into perspective, 1,000 kwacha, which is theirs, 1,000 kwacha is like $40 American. And like the pastor's salary was 2,000 kwacha. So it's $80 a month, right? A month?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we had the air running because all of us Americans are warm. It is like 70 to 80 degrees there. We were warm. And they're all freezing.
Yeah. When we got there at the hotel, we had to ask where the remotes were for the air conditioners because they had put them away because it was their winter. So they're like, okay, like, please.
Do you want to mention the sweater?
Oh, yeah. So then one of the ladies was really cold because of the air. And I had a sweater on, and so I just took it off, and I gave it to her, and she was so thankful. So I told her, just keep it. It's fine. And she was just almost in tears because I gave her my sweater. So I went back to the hotel room to see what other clothes I could give away. I gave about half my clothes away. And I just laid it in front of them and said, here you go. And they just all grabbed, didn't look at it, didn't care what size it was. They just grabbed it and were so thankful.
So we're hoping to go back to Zambia someday, and we'll know better this time. Just plan on leaving all the clothes except we're going to travel back in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just more needed there and more useful to them.
Because God loved you. Say it with me. Jesus died for me. Amen. Enough. Let's do it again. Put those 4 fingers up a little louder. Jesus died for me. Amen. There we go.
All right. That was Pastor Paul, who led our trip. He's a chaplain down in Milwaukee, leading chaplains for schools, and he did a fantastic job. We really appreciated his leadership. If I'm right, we go till 10:25. Does that sound right? All right, so we got 10 minutes, Jess. Let's do this.
All right.
All right, so visited the churches. The churches also, to earn some more money, they operate car parks. So during the week, cars are parked up all over the place. There's not like nice lines. They just get them all in there because that's the way to keep your car safe. So you can see they got their gates. You can see at the top they have spikes. Where you don't see that, along the cement top, there is broken glass up there. And that's all cemented in so people can't just go over walls.
When you first buy property there, to show that you own it, you put a wall around the property. And then you put in spikes and everything to keep people out.
Yep. You don't.
When we went to the grocery store or even at our hotel, we had an armed guard with a machine gun to protect us. And they had them even walk around the parking lots to protect the cars.
This was the newest church in their synod, so you can see they've got nice floors. Their chairs pretty typically look like what yard chairs. Some of us Americans were a little heavy for them and broke a chair.
Tim.
I did have a baby on my lap, so added a little bit.
Even at the church, they kind of just said, oh, you want to hold my baby? They would just give you your baby to hold. And one started crying, so I went into the back to hold it, stand there and bounce it. And another lady came and told me, he wants nipple. Okay. So I just handed her, and she said, whose baby? Whose baby? I had no idea, but kind of just took the baby and took control.
Keep it G-rated, please.
Sorry.
It's going to be posted online.
Yeah.
Whenever the choirs sang, they would travel. So start in the back of church, come up, have a song just for traveling,
Yep.
sing their song, sing another one to travel back. So got about 30 seconds here.
You can also see the uniforms. The choir had a uniform, the ladies' aid had a uniform. Everyone had different uniforms. When we were there, the pastor would do English, and then the other pastor would translate it. So they were just a little bit longer services. Their choir practices are about 5 hours long on a Sunday evening.
I'm going to skip ahead just for the sake of time, even though their music is just beautiful. Oh, you hear some ululating, so it's a way that the ladies would show appreciation for the songs, that high-pitched ululating. This page probably looks pretty familiar to you. It's from the red hymnals. As I opened up this red hymnal, I looked at the front and said, Bethany Appleton. So that was a happy moment for me. This is the second church, the poorer one that we had visited. You can see that they have a dirt floor. And it was one of the biggest things. We had sat down with their church council to eat afterward, and they said, the biggest thing for us, if you could help us, would be to get us a concrete floor, because it's really hard to get visitors to come to church when they know that by the end of the service, their good clothes are going to be all dirty. So that was a big deal to them, which obviously made sense. As we stayed there and shared this story, a kind family gave money to put a concrete floor in the church. Not only did they make good use of the money to put this new concrete floor in, polished tiles and everything, they actually expanded their church. So when they built the church, they ran out of money, so they just put an end on it. So here you can see the roof is the ceiling is a little bit lighter. That's how long it was supposed to be when they built the church, but they ran out, so they just stopped it here. They were able to have enough funds then to also extend the church to what the original plans were. So the gifts that we've given, it's always kind of weird, like, all right, am I giving my money to someone, and what are they going to do with it? Because I'm not there to see it being used wisely or properly. Every time we've given money, they always send pictures or receipts showing, yes, we're using this faithfully in its intended use.
The congregation is supposed to give them 2,000 kwacha a month, and this is the poor church, and they can only give him 1,000 kwacha a month. So Tim and I, as a family, the two of us, we send him $40 American money every month to give him that other 1,000 just to pay his rent.
Something else they do, once a month they have a special offering for the pastor's support. So those two lumps you see there, those are chickens, and they're alive.
They were with us on the bus for the rest of the day because that was the payment to the pastor, was live chickens.
Yep, so families who couldn't afford to give money gave goods. He also had a large 40-pound bag of corn flour to make nshima at home. Their free will offering at church, 4 different baskets. So if you're a basket for the men, a basket for the women, I think choir might have been one, and Sunday school was the other one. So with our last about 5 minutes here, I want to talk about the support that we can do. First of all, everybody can do this, right? It's one of the reasons God has put us together in a family of believers is to pray, and we just don't even know how God uses those gifts always. Most often, I would say. We don't know that connection we have with God and how He's going to bless it through prayer. Talked with chairman or president of Vulnerable Children's Foundation just this past week to see if there's any updates he had to give me before this presentation. $144 is the updated amount. It had been $123 for years and years. Inflation finally got us. So it's $144 to pay tuition and lunch for a student for an entire year of school. So what does that mean? Well, for their school of 620 kids, it means their whole budget for the whole year of paying their teachers, doing lunches, everything else, their whole budget is $90,000. So about what it takes to pay one teacher here in our Lutheran schools. So also even if a gift isn't $144 that you can give or tens of thousands, any small monthly gift that you can give is helpful to them as they set their budgets so they can pay people not just in, we got a big gift, now we can pay people, but that ongoing monthly gift is helpful. So when you think of that meal for a mission, that $5, $10, whatever it is, money goes a long way, our American dollars do in Zambia. Some of the other things that we had noted as we were there, we just were kind of taking a list. These are things that we saw that were needed. So I put a strike through some of the things that in our other presentations to ladies auxiliaries or LWMS rallies, people have given and paid for some other items as well. But you see there's needs from small things like learning manipulatives, even the basics. I was talking or stay connected with the principals at the school, so checked with them this week too, and they said even just paper and pencil, all those things matter. And it's cheaper for us to send them money, have them go to the store and buy it. They have stores that have those things. They just don't have the money to go into them. So it's cheaper for us to do that than to ship a large box of any of those items. There's also some larger things like some dreams. The Challenge, that's that newest church, and the long-term vision and strategy of what that church could do for their synod. It's important, so that's what those bigger amounts are for. President Dr. Colander of Vulnerable Children's Foundation, he gave me these projects. The government requested, I don't know how strong of a request it is, but he said one of their big projects at Matero School, that newer one, they said they're requesting expanded bathrooms, which they're guessing is going to be about $20,000 because they have, 300 kids that attend there, so a couple stalls aren't going to do it. Required from the government, it's going to be phased in a new curriculum that the government has approved. Sometimes we worry like, okay, well, what if it's the government's approving something bad? Something that is helpful is knowing that the official religion in Zambia is Christian. There's only 2 countries in the world like that, Zambia and Vatican City. So, which that one you would expect, right? So they are officially a Christian nation. Are there other unbelievers there? Obviously there are, but it's helpful when you hear stuff coming from the government, at least that base should be the same, although we would say we certainly need to watch the doctrines that are in their books. Then Dr. Colander also mentioned private donations, as in teaching degrees or scholarships. One last thing he asked me to note was they're planning a big, memorable trip next year. Their target audience is to take 20 individuals or couples, hoping for looking at people who are 50 or older that would be interested in becoming lifelong donors for VCF, but making not a trip like we did, which was kind of as cheap as we could. This one is to make it a big, memorable trip. So there's more information. If you are interested in that, you can talk to me and I can get you connected with Dr. Colander, but they're going to be doing like hot air balloon rides over the, it's going to be all kinds of cool memories, but he wanted me to mention that.
Safari.
Yes, safari, yep, water safari, some nights on a riverboat, just going to Kenya as well. So it's going to be a cool two-week trip. Helping individuals, Jess mentioned that we help out the Tongas. So helping support Pastor Tonga directly, but also his daughter. His daughter wants to be a nurse, but they didn't have the ability to send her to school. So they'd asked for our help. We connected with some of the, I guess, people in the medical field that we know are friends in the congregation, and just said, if this is an area that you'd like to support as a faculty, we are supporting one of the headmistresses. Her husband is going to school to be a teacher. So our faculty at St. John's in Newburgh, they're supporting him to do that. I'm like, well, we can't always ask the same people. So maybe someone understanding the space that a nurse can have in ministry, especially in a country like Zambia, would want to support them that way. Let's see, the Kangangos. Tonga's Church, again, got the cement there. This is their bathroom. So
I did not use it.
Yep. I had to go at least take a picture so I could share it. And so when they're talking about having basic needs, yeah, that's it. So we had communion that day. They have the disposable cups too, but they don't dispose of them. They're reusable cups, so they're cracked and not looking too nice.
They just shook it out of the water and reused it right then and there.
So
I'm glad we went first.
Yeah. So it was like having the common cup, just a really small one. All right, the last thing I'll leave us with is just a farewell song that they sang. This is the words that go along with it. They had gone through each of the visitors and named us all. I got called Pastor Tim, and it's something that they haven't given up on. I keep reminding them I'm not a pastor, but I don't know if I'm going to fight that battle much longer. Thank you for your attention today and your Meal for a Mission supporting VCF. We went over time. Sorry. My apologies.
Thank you.
So thank you.
No, this is when we were on a safari. Yeah, this was
we got
on our
more
boat.
slides. If there would ever happen, like we ran out of time, it's never happened. Thank you again for your support for VCF. It means a lot. Your dollar goes a long way to doing God's work in Zambia. So you don't have to clap again. Thank you. We'll be here for second service too, so if we got time beforehand, we'll chat.